18th of February, 12:52 p.m. The Old Bailey Defendants Antechamber. Hey guys, Lex here, back for some more of the Great Ace Attorney. Last time, a fire started out while McGilded was doing his testimony. I actually lost my voice a few lines before that happened. Anyway, let's see if the trial continues. I'm assuming it will since we're still in the defendant's lobby. So yeah, let's go. What on earth had just happened here?
Mr. Naruhodo, I've managed to find out what happened.
Mrs. Sato.
I was told it was an advanced form of a smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke.
Smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use.
They're just making sure everything's safe now. I think the trial will start again before long.
But who would have done something like that?
The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently.
Flee the courtroom? Why?
Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear.
A young girl? Then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about?
My thoughts exactly.
So he wasn't lying. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded actually? There are so many things I want to ask him about, but he's not here.
I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl.
Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk and for what possible benefit to herself?
There's another matter that's troubling me.
What's that?
The 20 pence.
Hmm? Oh,
According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly.
but now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers.
Which means the figures don't seem to add up again.
She's right. That is strange. Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed to the courtroom. Trial will recommence in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away.
Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial.
We'll know soon enough, Mr. Sato.
Yes.
18th of February, 1 p.m. The Old Bailey Courtroom. There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look. When he was talking about the urchin, I thought she was going to be younger. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. Well, after the rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Sykes. My lord. I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which failed proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious, the army! What in the devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught, and now occupies the stand. Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in the back courtroom? What's the meaning of this deplorable behavior? If I may, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGilded. I think perhaps I ought to explain here. Why it is that this wee lass here was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that. 'Tis all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Hmm. Very well, Mr. McGildy. Give your testimony. You will explain to the courtroom exactly how this young woman is involved in the case.
Just what did happen that night? It's not like the defense lawyer needs that information or anything. The young girl. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and probably nodded off. Then Becker, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at my feet, so I sat him up in the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away.
I remain somewhat baffled, I confess, but from what I gather, on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus. Is that correct?
It's exactly as the defense counsel said. The last was the fifth passenger, my lord.
Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Are you ready, counsel?
Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. The young girl. I'll skip this one. Sure. A loud thud, you say, and a scream? Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? 'Twas like the sound of someone falling to the ground, that sort of noise. So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor having been stabbed? Well, I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And what the sound woke me up, I opened my eyes. There wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fella on the floor. Didn't see anyone, but at the same moment you did hear a scream.
From the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume.
Not above me, my lord. 'Twas from the inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes. Sat him up. So you sat him up? The victim, you mean? That I did, on the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man lying on the floor now, would you? Idiot. Just common courtesy as it is.
I find that a little hard to believe.
Lord Van Sykes. Now why would that be?
You wake up to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is.
Well now, you know, I'm in something of a special line of business.
The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest.
Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting that you were just going to leave the man there? Heavens alive, no. I was always intended to report it, I was. Only, I had a mind to find out whys and wherefores first. The whys and wherefores? Right you are. There are some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. The wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yeah, the scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing. Then I turned to find out... Okay. Oh, wait. I'm afraid I don't understand. sure you told the curtain no one else in the carriage except for yourself and the victim. So I did, sir. So I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well now, 'tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up, it came from, if you'll excuse my vulgar expression, under my backside.
Good gracious.
Under your backside? And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found that there would be a wee cubbyhole for storage. Mr. Naruto, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember? Yes, of course, the whole bus was submitted as evidence. This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around the inside. That's when I found her. Wow. I was about to skip that one. I only accidentally pressed it. So let's go inside. Yep. Wait, did I ever click on this? That's blood, isn't it? Oh. Something wrong? Oh, it's just, well, this bloodstain is so obvious, that's all. Yet Van Zykes made no mention of it. Yeah, I didn't even notice it. I suppose that does seem a little strange. Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? See, I knew there was like a handle here. This seat has a handle, it seems. Oh. This is a storage compartment, but there's nothing in here. It's totally empty. Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on what it is. This thing? Oh, it's just part of it. Okay, skip it. This seat looks reasonably soft. Okay, just skip all this. Oh, damn it. I do wonder how you must be feeling, Mr. Naruto. Being the defendant's lawyer and yet finding myself as stunned as everyone else at his testimony, let's just say it's trying. We certainly had precious little time to talk to Mr. McGilded before the trial. But we mustn't be dispirited. Let's just try to learn all the facts we can. When we arrived in London this morning, I didn't see my day panning out like this. Mr. Naruto, no grumbling even in your head. How did you know? The back seat. Yeah. Let me just present this. Wait. I didn't press this one yet. And when you first got on the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty and there was no one else on the roof deck either. What?
You were the first passenger, as it were. I see.
Aye. And that's why I took the backside as I did. 'Tis the most comfortable, so it is. So, could you explain what you mean by the back seat? By all means, 'tis how you already described it earlier. Talking about the seat opposite to the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, 'tis most comfortable where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well. You say she was hiding herself? Aye, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, my heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. You're really overacting this. Still and all, I pulled her up from under there, sat her up on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chin wag with her. The seat opposite. That's right, just next to the dead gentleman there.
You sat up this young girl next to a corpse, sir?
Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position could be all too find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream, a fellow's voice this time. Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with a knife in his belly.
In other words, the previous witness did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McKilted. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was, in fact, this girl and the late Mr. Mason.
Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight.
It is certainly possible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused perhaps with this young girl.
After that, of course, with the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses.
Thank you, I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is this girl? Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord.
Lestrade. Someone was named Lestrade. Don't remember. She's a chancer, earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. What?
This girl here, a petty thief.
Off with her head!
Order, order. Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. How dare you? What is the meaning of this? The girl, she's gone.
Open your eyes. I'm over here.
Good gracious, how?
What was the point in that little sidestep? I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This little dipper, you'll see, slipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself back in her corner, so she knifed the jet. Go on, that's what's in your head, ain't it? No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth, not cast. Boy's head. Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs? Oh, this? Yeah, this was in a bag I lifted the other day. Down where they keep the four-wheel drags. Oh, that's Sholmes' gun. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best.
Oh, don't wave that thing in my direction again. So, you admit that you were riding in the omnibus the night in question?
It's alright, lass. You can tell him the truth now. All right, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said.
The court accepts the girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony if you please. You will now tell the court exactly what happened in Omnibus on the night in question.
All right, if I have to.
What the girl saw.
So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. But it was right all waste of time. I got nothing to show for my troubles that night. I tell you, I can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then after a while, I hear a loud bang. Nearly jumped on my skin, I did, and a scream just came out. Because of that, this swell found me. He did help me get away, mind.
Yes, he let you go. I fail to understand why he would let this street urchin go, Mr. McGilton.
Oh, 'tis simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger, I knew that for a fact.
How?
As I'm sure I've said before, sir. He was sitting on top of it. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself.
I think a demonstration is called for.
This is where I sat that night.
And the cubby hole of which you have spoken is underneath this seat, I presume.
Wait, is there a hole underneath?
Ah, yes, it does appear just large enough to accommodate some of this girl's stature.
Aye, but of course, the wee lass was stuck in there, because I parked myself on the seat for the duration.
Ah.
So you see, that's why I let the lass bolt. Knew that if the police found her in there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent.
Even though you must have realized your action would result in your own innocence being called into question.
Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. My goodness, what a perfect gentleman.
My lord, this is this fine example of a man can't possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir.
Yeah. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Yeah.
Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning to verdict of not guilty.
Easy. Mr. Naruhodo, this, well, it must mean...
It must mean what?
That we're victorious! Unless the... Sykes uses the thing against me too. We've won? Are you sure?
Objection!
Oh, jeez.
Holy shit.
If the sight of my iron-heeled Wellington offends, pray, do forgive the discourtesy. Also, I'm going to end the episode here, so see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.